All right, good morning, everyone. We are continuing in the learning of the book, which is called Torah, Likuti Torah. Likuti Torah, the one of the basic books of Chabad Chassidut. And as we've explained so many times before, that the purpose of Chabad is basically the reason the whole entire world was created. Which that sounds a little bit fantastic, but if you think about it, it's not, because the Jews are called the chosen people of God. And God is the creator of the whole universe. And God creates everything all the time. In fact, time itself is a creation. So if the Jews are chosen by the creator of the world, so it's not that impossible. I mean, if you swallow all that before, so it's not so hard to swallow the idea that one Jew can change the whole world. I mean, you got a connection with your father. He's the creator of the whole business. And according to Judaism, this physical world is tremendously important, much more important than going to heaven and all this stuff. It's almost not even mentioned over here. It's so insignificant in light of what this world is. It's like you give a person, a poor person on the street, you give him, $100, he's happy. You give him $1,000. I can't. You say, listen, my friend, I'm going to give you $100,000. $100,000. Oh, I'm sorry, I misread what I'm going to give you. There's not 5 zeros or 6 zeros. I'm giving you $1 million. So I can't believe it. That doesn't even know what $1 million is. Doesn't even know. He says, one second, I'm just getting a message. No, you have become the king of the whole world. All the money, all the treasures, everything is yours. What's he supposed to do now? I mean, how many steaks can you eat? How many cars can you buy? But the whole world is mine. It's not just the physical world, also the spiritual worlds. You can summon up all the angels and everything like that. That doesn't make, I mean, this is just fantastic. So going to heaven is something like getting $1 million. Let's say, just to fit it into our metaphor. And we're this poor person on the street, just, looking for a sardine or something in a can that was thrown away. Maybe it was unnoticed. That's his greatest treasure. And all of a sudden you give him $1 million. Doesn't know what to do with it. That's like us going to heaven. We don't know what reality is. We don't know what pleasure is. We don't know what achievement is, but what real pleasure is. People do anything for pleasure. They go berserk in this world for pleasure. And that pleasure of this world is nothing compared to going to heaven. Nothing going to heaven. But doing a commandment in this world, like the Jews do, then you get the whole jackpot, the whole entire thing, not just 1 million, not 1 billion, not just the USA, not just this whole world. You get all of the worlds, and all the creation is yours. And you can change the whole world. Okay, this sounds a little bit fantastic, and it certainly is. But when Moshiach comes, we'll see that it's not. There really is a creator of the universe, and he really does react to what we do. And that is what happens when you do the Torah and the commandments properly. It's putting into this spiritual bank or whatever, billions, trillions, quadrillions, infinite levels of reality are there waiting for you if you do the Torah and the commandments with love. That's what he said. There's praise, hoda'ah, and bracha, and blessing, and in what connects them together is love. You love God, you can draw God into the world when you do the Torah and the commandments. Pretty good. But all this beautiful things that we just talked about, this beautiful scenario, and how great the Jews are, and how high and how incredibly connected we are to the creator of the universe, and how the universe is like nothing to the creator. And the creator, what he wants is just this physical world. Every detail in this world is tremendously important to the creator. And it all is in the hands of the Jews to do the Torah and the commandments. And that's it. It's so simple, but calls that all this, kafisha tzorech liot. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's That's what life is supposed to be. Life is supposed to be that we can actually improve the creation, the whole entire creation, just by serving the Creator properly. Now, you don't need all these politics and all these the medicines and inventions and what is it, the mysteries, not mysteries, what are they called, what secret organizations and this, and the battles, internal battles between the devil and this. You don't need any of that. All you have to is just a Jew does the Torah and the commandments. That's it. It's that simple, says the Rebbe. Yeah, but it's not so simple to get to this. This is how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. I remember once, I mean, I think maybe I said this before, but I'll say it again. Once, I must have been, I don't know, 10 years old or something. So we went to the was it 5 and 10 cent? There used to be called a 5, what is it called? A 5 and 10 cent store. Anyway, whatever it is, we went to this, and there was a box, and it says, have your own ant farm. Have your own ant farm. So I was with my father, I think my mother also. Ant farm, what do you say? He says, no, I hope they won't get out. They won't get out of the house. And my father said, listen, we got enough ants as it is anyway. But if it'll make you happy, it's okay. So I took the thing home, and there's like these 2 pieces of glass. You get the 2 pieces of glass, and then you fill it up with dirt from outside. That's pretty good. And they have a picture over there of how the ants, they're going to make all these tunnels and little rooms over there, and you're going to watch them, in the catacombs of the ant colony. And then so I got the whole thing all fixed up, and they said, okay, step 1, put this piece of glass, put this. Step 5 says this. Then step number 10, find a queen ant. So I said, how am I going to know? How am I going to find a queen ant? How am I going to do that? You find the queen ant, it's easy going after that. It's easy going. I'm going to do it. Where's the queen ant? And it ended up, of course, I threw it in the garbage with, after it sat around for a while and I didn't know exactly what to look for. Queen ant, I looked it up in the encyclopedia and everything, and after, so how are you going to find one? Anyway, so I threw it away. It's the same, sort of like the same thing the Rebbe is saying. Simple. All you have to do is the Torah and the commandments from surrender and love to God. That's all. You do these commandments with surrender to God and love to the Creator. You do the commandments. That's it. The whole entire world gets fixed up. It's like an injection into the world, and the whole world gets fixed up. There's no more murder and aggression and depression and addictions and all this perfidy and stuff like that. No, everybody's just honest, normal, practical human beings. You walk down the street, people say hello, good morning. Everybody's helping everybody else. That's what it's supposed to be if the Jews do the commandments. But it's like finding the mother ant. It's not so easy. All you gotta do is just all this we said before about fixing the world up by means of us doing Torah and commandments is only if the Jews are the way they're supposed to be. But it's not so. And what are you bitter about instead of being bitter about being far away from God? Amariros, the bitterness is, that you're far away from being rich or being successful, or this guy gets his picture put in the paper 4 times and you only got it 3 times. If that's what you're bitter about, and you're not bitter about being far away from God, because something is missing either in family or in health or in livelihood, and your joy, if it's not in God like it was supposed to be, right? Every time he looks at his bank account, looks at his house, this is wonderful. Okay, it's not bad to feel good about that thing, but if that's your only goal, this is called galus. That's called exile. And the spark of godliness in the natural soul, goes as in goes as it's like a sheep in front of the shearers. In other words, come on, man, you're a Jew. You're a Jew. A Jew is different. A Jew is supposed to be more human than everyone else. A Jew is supposed to be more honest. Why? Not because he's afraid of the police catching him, because he wants to make a good name for the Jewish people, because that's what God wants. You are actually doing things. You're only motivated by what God wants. You're not thinking about going to heaven. That's thinking about yourself, what you want. That's what a Jew is supposed to be. Then you not only make a good impression, but also it brings godliness into the world. But if you don't, if you let the world conquer you, then the spark of godliness, which is inside of you, is trapped. And that was what we said. It's like a sheep that's being sheared. When it's sheared, what does it mean? The sheep, we said that the wool of the sheep corresponds to godly flow that comes into the world. And being sheared means that this godly flow is, so to speak, disconnected from its source. You don't feel it's a godly flow. It's just world, luck. On this Kasiv, it says Tzion b'mishpat. That's why we said here, that's the name of this mimer, right? Tzion b'mishpat. Zion, the Jewish people with justice will be redeemed, and its prisoners will be redeemed through charity. Justice and charity. Justice usually is Torah, and charity is the commandments. We'll see in a moment. We said, why are we talking about this? Because this is the Haftorah of this week, of this Shabbat, the first paragraph of Isaiah. And Isaiah really lets the Jewish people have it, but in the end he says, listen, God, you're making him angry, you're disappointing God. God has the ability to do, to really just wipe you out, but he's not going to. Tzion, the Jewish people, but Mishpat, we'll see what Tzion is. Tzion, this is a simon, this is a sign. Ana simana. A Tzion is a sign, like a road sign. It's called a Tzion. Tzioni derech. Hainu, bechinas, penimius, alev. This is the inside of the heart. Ahava ativis. This is the natural love. The ava penimius, and the inside, internal love, which every Jew has for God. Every Jew. V'gam hi niglis. This will be revealed. I'm sorry. I need glasses. This is also Bagulus in exile. The inner Jewish soul is in exile. But mishpat, and it will be redeemed by justice. What's justice? The laws of the Torah. Like it says, kamishpat arishon, like it says, like the first first judgment, Kehilchasa kadmisa, the first law. Hainu kamaim razal, like what the rabbis say, how are we going to get out of this situation that we're in, this exile? How are we going to do it? We're trapped, we're finished. It's over, right? It says, that's what it seems like, but it's not. The same God that we left, that's omnipotent, is that same God is going to bring us all back. Ein agalas mitkanesas ela b'zechut mishnayot. That says that the exile that the Jews are in will only be gathered together in the merit of learning Torah. Shene'amar gam ki yitnu b'goyim, even when you are placed among the nations, orally there will be light to me. It says ki a Torah, or because the Torah is light. Okay, a normal person might think, listen, what are you talking about? The Torah is a book in the library. It's just it's a religion book. There's other religions also. They also have their, Bibles or whatever they have. Havdil. So what's so special about our book? It says, well, one thing that's special about it is that it was given in public in front of 3 million people. At least that's what we say. No other religion even made up such a story. Number two, it was given from the creator of the whole universe, the one that took us out of Egypt. Egypt ruled over the whole world, and the creator got involved. He got involved in the world on the world's terms. In other words, he didn't just make the Egyptians disappear. He made plagues. Each one was different. It took a lot of time. Each time he asked that Moses asked Paro, will you let us out? We want this to be according to your free will. And Paro said, no way. And there was another plague. What about now? What about now? And finally, in the end, when there was no choice, so he drowned all of the soldiers, the Egyptian soldiers he didn't decimate all of Egypt to just kill everybody. No. He wanted somehow or other to make the world a vessel for godliness. What is this godliness? God took the Jews out of Egypt. Why? To give them the Torah. To give them the Torah. This whole business with all these miracles and the plagues and everything was only in order to give them the Torah. And God gave the Jews the Torah. 3 million people were there, just 3 million, 2 million, 600,000 men from the age of 20 up. They were there and they all saw it. There's no religion that even says that made up such a thing like that. And it's a big question why Judaism, if they did make it up, why would they make it up? I mean, it didn't work. It didn't really work, right? I mean, there's all these other religions that have like billions of followers, and Judaism has, how many they have? Not a big amount. Certainly not billions, hundreds of millions. I mean, soon it'll be all the Jews. And if all the Jews worship God, all of them, how many is going to be? 20 million. Let's say there's another 20 million hidden in Russia that don't need to know that they're Jews. 40 million. Okay. 40 million. But nevertheless, the fact of the matter is the Torah was given by the creator of the universe for the universe, for man. And when we sit and we learn Torah, which is just a book and just has these ideas, that's what it seems to us because we're in exile. But it says in the future, there'll be a new Torah. What does it mean new? That everyone will see that every word of the Torah is directly from God. And every commandment is God's will. But the fact that we know it or not is irrelevant. Well, I mean, it's pretty relevant, but the fact is irrelevant to the truth. The truth is that when a Jew sits and learns Torah, he is elevating the world. He's freeing the godly soul, which is in exile. Tzion, the essence of the godly soul, is covered up by the body, but mishpat with Torah, Tepara will be redeemed. The Shaveh and its prisoners, what type of prisoners? Here's another level of confusion that the Jewish people are in. One is the Jewish identity is concealed. The other one is Vishaveh. This is the two Chalalei Alev. These are the two hollows of the heart. Two hollows of the heart. And simply saying this is the two urges that every Jew has, which usually you only feel one. A godly urge and a natural urge. Two Chalalei Alev, she'em, that they are shvuim, both of them are imprisoned. Because the bitterness that a person has that should have been that you're far away from God, that should make you feel bad. That should make you strive. It's exactly the opposite. What you're missing from this world. Also the joy that it should have been from mitzvahs, from doing the commandments. I'm doing what God wants. From the desires of this world. This is like being a prisoner. Which is not the case of Tzion. There is Tzion, this level of the essence of the Jewish soul, there is no opposition to this level. When a Jew reveals his true Jewish nature, so nothing in the world can stop him. And the reason is very simple. I think it's very simple anyway. If a person, let's say, is a fanatic, what's a fanatic? A fanatic is a person that he can't bear to listen to any other opinions. This is big time nowadays. People can't bear to hear another opinion. Right now they have that amazing. They won't let speakers speak in universities because they have a different opinion than me. Different. Okay, so that's a fanatic. You have a different opinion. A good normal person is willing to hear other people's opinions. But there's people that you can't listen to other people's opinions. For instance, let's say there's a an expert in music, Rachmaninoff, super genius, man, amazing. And he's having a conversation with people that are hard of hearing. They can't hear music at all. They're tone deaf. Oh, tone deaf people. What's he going to have in a conversation with them? You know, they'll say, I don't understand why you have to have such a big, or you have to have these big things with that are made from brass. And what do you call them? Tubas. And then you have these little things that are made from brass. What do they call those trumpets? Why? Just have the big ones. You know, that's what. So what are you going to talk to a person like that? He doesn't know what music is. He doesn't know what the harmony is. Doesn't know anything is. That's the Jewish people. The Jewish people, God, when they reveal the godly soul. So all the people that hate them, they hate them for no reason whatsoever. But what are you going to talk to a person like that for? All you can convince them is, listen, one second, my friend, you're being created. I just want to make the creation better. We're worshiping, serving the Creator. Some people hate the Creator. Some people hate the creation. Some people here, you had just on the Nazis, the communists. They just wanted to destroy everything in the name of progress, whatever the name was, but they wanted to destroy it. There's people who like to destroy, but there's people who don't like to destroy. Okay, you can have a little conversation with them. But once the true Jewish soul is revealed, then it's a sense of reality, a sense of truth, a sense of love that's incomprehensible. You realize that if I was where these people are now, so there's no conversation. I can't, right? But for sure, they're not going to move me from my truth. Right? It's like people who come and tell me that, my father was a Nazi. But I know he wasn't a Nazi. What are you talking about? He was not. Oh, yes, he was. I saw him in the garments. What are you talking about? It's ridiculous. There's nothing. Same thing. People come, they say they hate the Jews. God doesn't exist. What are you supposed to say? If you feel the reality of what Hashem is, the Creator is, then there's no love. There's no nothing in the world is going to move you for that. That's called Mesirut Nefesh. That's why there were so many Jews that were willing to die at the stake in the time of the Inquisition. Right? The church had everything. They had everything. They had the world to come. You go to heaven. Just believe like us. But the Jews knew that it was a lie. They knew it was a lie, that it wasn't so. First of all, I don't want to go to heaven. I'm interested in this physical world. And once a Jew feels this godliness, then nothing can separate himself. Then there can't be exile. That's the idea of the future redemption, that you're certain of the existence of God and God's love and God's care. These two things will redeem us. That's the commit. Right. Tzedakah, one second. Let's see. Give me 1 minute. Okay. Yes. And the Hema Yivdu B'Tzedakah. They will be this two sides of your heart, which you should be interested in doing what the Creator wants with His creation. Instead, you're thinking about yourself all the time. That's called being an exile. How can you get yourself out of this exile and you start thinking about what's really meaningful? But tzedakah. The essence of the Jewish soul that's hidden, that is just hidden away. So that's redeemed by learning Torah. But what about the two sides of your heart that you're really involved in the world? He says that you have to have something more powerful, and that's called charity. Rachmanas, mercy on poor people. Umida keneged mida. And then we have what's called measure for measure. Measure for measure means that what you do, God will do. Rachem, if you have mercy on people that are need of your mercy, then God will have mercy on us. V'tein b'libeinu will put into our heart bina ubina leba. Then He'll give us the biggest gift and blessing there can possibly be, and that is understanding. Why is understanding a big gift? Why is understanding? Just think about it for one moment. Understanding is the biggest gift of all. If you understand that there's a Creator and that the Creator loves us, then you're open to what the Creator wants. You won't do things that are opposite of a blessing. You won't do things which are the opposite of what your Creator wants. Understanding. You have to understand who's your friend, who's your enemy. Right? Let's say you have a special forces in the army, and they're trained and they're intelligent and they understand the language of the right, understand the language of the enemy and everything. You have special forces, right? But the only problem is they don't know how to recognize who the enemy is. There's nothing worse than that. They'll turn the guns and they'll shoot on their friends instead of their foes. The same thing is with us. If we understand what God is, we understand how good God is, then the Torah that we learn and the commandments that we do and the life that we lead will be in a totally different way. God is held. We're not alone. We're not alone. God is with us. That's understanding. And we also, when we learn the Torah, we understand the Torah is the word, the wisdom, the will of God. The biggest gift is understanding. So it says that's what's going to get us out of this exile. But how do we, right? When we understand, that's what's in exile is our understanding, and also our heart. Says the Rebbe, how do we get out of it? Learning Torah and giving charity. But I look at the Kodesh where it says Zarei Tzedakos. It says that if you plant charity, then it grows up salvation. In this level of Tzion, the inner point of the soul, Kativ, it is written, Kisham Tziva Hashem es habracha. It says that there God commands the blessing. It's one of the Shir HaMalos, said right near the end. Like it says, Idra Zutra in the book of the Zohar, one of the chapters of the Zohar. That's where a lot of secrets are. In Parshas Tzav, that this level of the blessing we said before, we talked about gratitude and blessing, and what joins them together is love. Well, the blessing that we talked about before, this comes from the inner heart. This is much higher than the level of Tzion. Tzion, we said, is the inside of the heart, inner point of the heart. And we said that this blessing, the inside of the heart, which is above any sort of love that we can possibly think of, this is the level of Tzion, and that becomes redeemed. So we have Tzion is the inner point of the heart, and that's the inner point of our heart is not being used. We wake it up by giving charity. Ayin Meshkasu, like it says in another place, it says, 1 minute. Okay. 1 minute.
Gotta get home.
There's a parentheses over here, and where does the parentheses end?
Over here at 2:09. What is it? Marymount. Not answering the phone. The doors.
Excuse me 1 minute.
134 Kingsley.
Someone there is not muted.
Make it. I gotta get home.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I had to mute somebody. Here we go. Okay, that's what it means. Tzion. Tzion. Look at the on the pasuk Tzion. This is look at the Ramaz Rav Moshe Zechut, and in Parshas Bamidbar it talks about Yivrecha Hashem b'Tzion. This idea of V'shaveha b'tzedakah. It says that it's prisoners. Some people say it's the returners. Yesh Lomar, we can say that this is what it says, the Samki Kod Code, in the end of Tzedakah Terum Goy. That charity elevates a nation. And in this case, we're talking about Goy means that the Jewish people, when they are in exile, is like the level of Goy. And also, there's another member, the Rebbe is just sending us to these different places. Okay, but okay. Ayin Mashkatu, look what it says, Divre Maskal Matova. Okay, the Rebbe just brings us all these different places to explain how we're going to get out of this exile. The temple was destroyed. How are we going to get out of it? So the Rebbe said, by means of learning Torah and by means of giving charity. And then Hashem will release our understanding that we can think more about God and come to deeper levels of God, deeper connections to the Creator. Okay, next. Barabot in Medrash Rabbah. Avram Natan Levanov Shtei Arisin. Abraham gave to his children two, like, what do you call it, protections. Shene'amar, like it says, ki yadativ v'shomru derech havaya lasot tzedakah b'mishpat. God said, I know Abraham, and Abraham will do tzedakah and mishpat. That's what we're just talking about. We're just talking about Tzion b'mishpat tepare v'shaveh b'tzedakah. Av Kodesh Baruch Hu, also God, also Zakav la shtei arisim. He also gave him two protections or two helpers, connect them. Chesed and rachamim, kindness and mercy. Amdu Yisrael, the Jewish people stood up and they attached themselves to these two aspects of God. So Abraham started off and he brought these two novelties into the world, which are called charity and justice or law. Charity means that you give to people that don't deserve, and mishpat means that you know who deserves and who doesn't. How do you know a person doesn't deserve and nevertheless you give him? Mishpat means you judge. Well, we're just saying now that mishpat means the Torah and tzedakah are the commandments. That's something that's unique to the Jewish people. We connected ourselves with our charity and our Torah to God's kindness and his mercy. Shekach Kasiv, that's what it says. Tzion b'mishpat tepare. It says that Tzion, the Jewish people, b'mishpat tepare. Mishpat, that's the Torah, will be redeemed. V'shavel, and her prisoners, b'tzedakah, through charity. Av Kodesh Baruch Hu, also God, he did his part. Shekach Kasiv, that's what it says. Ki aharim yamushu, etc. B'chesde mitcha lo yamush lo'olam. It says that the mountains might move, but my kindness, my love for you, Jewish people, will never move. That's chesed, that's love. Omar, Marachamecha Hashem, says the one who has mercy on you, God. Okay, so the Jewish people, they're learning Torah and they're doing the commandments. And God replies with his Torah, Mishpat Tepare, God's kindness and God's mercy. Okay, Inyan is like this. What does this mean? Al derech hamavur, like it explains in another place. On the pasuk, Shabchi Yerushalayim es Hashem, praise Jerusalem, praise God. The name of God is Yud Kei Vav Kei. That's, so to speak, a name on God's essence. Halali Elokayech Tzion, praise your God. That's a lower aspect of God. Tzion. Okay, it's Shabachi Yerushalayim es Hashem, Hali Elokayach Tzion. We say it in our prayers also, but it's in Psalms. So Yerushalayim, these are also levels of the soul, right? Each and every Jew is a complete world. Jerusalem, this level of the soul, which is called Jerusalem, that praises Yud Kei Vav Kei. And this aspect of Tzion, that connects to Elokecha, which is a lower level of godliness. The Chorah Akasha said, the Rebbe, what this is, there must be some deeper meaning here, because at face value, it makes no sense. Hare Tzion, this level of Tzion, what do we say? It only draws down a low level of God, Elokecha. Tzion upenimis. Tzion is the inside of Yerushalayim. Some people say that Zion is the holy temple, and Jerusalem is just the external. That's the city. Lama, why is it mentioned in Yerushalayim that Yerushalayim will praise Yud Kei Vav Kei, the higher name of God, and Zion, which is a deeper aspect, that only praises Elokayach. Why? What can we say? A more external level that reaches a more internal source or something? What's going on? Of our soul. Okay, the Rebbe said, this is very important, and I want to explain it to you. Acha Inyan. Hine Kasiv, it says, Yismach Yisrael ba'osav. B'nai Tzion yagilu b'malkom. It says, Yisrael rejoice in his deeds, and what God does. Or it can mean also in the deeds of the Jewish people. B'nai Tzion, but the people of Tzion, yagilu b'malkom, will rejoice in their king. And it's explained in another place, what's called Togel Nafshi Beloki. The beginning, this Gila, Yagilu means to rejoice. This level Gila, Hainu Kamosh Katuv, it's like it's written, the Gilu Barada, you should rejoice in trembling. Or you're rejoicing in God, and God is awesome. This level of Gila is higher than Simcha. It's a deeper type of pleasure. Kamosh Katuv, like it says also in V'yadata Hayom, that hitkalalut ahava v'yira, joining of love and fear, machmas, because of a gilui mebechinas nora, because of this level of God's awesomeness, keil elyon. And also gila is also the inside of simcha b'peninyos. Alma discassia, the hidden worlds. Ukenyan luchot acharona, like the second tablets, shenitinat b'chashai, they were given quietly. But this is a deeper type of joy. Okay, so what's happening over here? It's happening, in a way, the essence of life is happiness. But happiness has to come as a result. It's a thing that it's too high for us to achieve on our own. You want to achieve happiness on your own. You take a drug, you take something, but that's not true happiness. That's just the signs of happiness. It's like a play actor. So the same thing, getting money, getting this, all those types of pleasure are very good, and it makes you happy. That's also nice, but they come from a higher source. And what's this higher source? So you can say there's these spiritual levels of higher pleasure. There's these Eastern religions talk about this. But we're talking about something even more. The essence of man is to change the world, to change things. The essence of man is to accept challenges. We're in the world, and the world has to be changed. The purpose of man is not just to be happy. The purpose of man is not just to be calm, no problems. The purpose of man is to change the world, to serve the Creator. That's the purpose. And as a side byproduct of this is happiness. But this happiness is a revelation of the essence of the soul. And just like the essence of the soul is not our doing, it's a gift. Also, this happiness is also a gift. But it comes from fulfilling your purpose in the world. In other words, connecting to the Creator, knowing what the Creator wants. Oh, that's pretty nice. Says the Rebbe, there's a lot of levels of this. It's not so simple. There's a lot of levels of good, of joy, of meaning that can be revealed through the Torah and the commandments, different levels of the soul. One is called simcha, that's a more external level. A deeper level is called gila. Sometimes there's also simcha and sason, but here we're talking about simcha and gila. So it says gila, this is joy as it is in the inside of the heart. Alma discassia, from the hidden worlds. Okay, in luchos achronos, like the last tablets, shenitnu b'chashai, that were given quietly. It was so high, and the joy was so great that it couldn't, so to speak, be expressed. Kadesh yumshach, in order that this high level of joy should be revealed, that it comes from this level of God, which is called Nora, awesome. We say that God is Hakel, a Gadol, a Gibor, v'Hanora. Hagadol means the God is kind. That corresponds to the God of Abraham. Agibor, that means the God is powerful, awesome. That corresponds to the God of Yitzchak. And Nora, that's higher than both of them. That joins them together, and that's called the God of Jacob, just like Yaakov joined them together. So this is the awesomeness of God, which is totally above any sort of possible description or whatever. This is the level which is the essence of a Jew. When a Jew feels this, it's so awesome, in a way so frightening, that on one hand you think it would just, paralyze us. But when we realize that it's from this level that God loves us, that the King of the whole universe is our Father, He loves us. That's what's called El Elyon. Then there's a tremendous joy. Panemius yumshach mizeh gilei barada, that you can be rejoicing in trembling. This is what's called gavurus v'tzimtzumim, by God's contractions and God's power and God's concealing Himself, like it says in a different place. That's what it means. Togel nafshi belokai. My heart will be gila, rejoicing in my God. Why my God? Elokai. That's a lower level. Says the Rebbe, yes, it's a lower level, but that's the only way that this essence God can be revealed. This is the name Elokim, tzimtzum, contraction, ugavura, and hiding, power. Ube'emet bechinat Elokim, but really this level is, Kamosh Katuv, like it says, Hashem lila Elokim. Jacob said at the ladder, Elokim. It is Kamosh Katuv, ma mizen divrei mas chashuv Yisrael. Zeu halalei Elokayach Tzion. Elokim, which is a lower level, is arouses this level of Tzion, the inner level of godliness. But in order, it says even more, in order to draw this line of Tzion, this essence of the soul, it's by the means of Elokim, by the means of contractions and concealments. God has to articulate Himself in order that we can appreciate it a little bit. That's mishpat, that's the whole idea of the Torah. The whole idea of the Torah is how God can be revealed in the world. Limit. A lot of people say, come on, the Torah is just all restricted. It's all these laws and everything like that. I mean, unfortunately, that was the whole, idea of Protestants and Catholics and all these, the Gospels and this stuff. The Torah is too restrictive. Too restrictive. You want to be really happy. You have to be free. You have to let yourself off. Okay, that's first of all a very big lie. And why is it a lie? Why? Let's say a person would say, I want to really feel alive. Why do I have to have the circulatory system and nervous system and digestive system and endocrine system and all these limits? Let's just open it up and just be free totally, right? And so he rips open his stomach and cuts open all of the veins and all the arteries. Now I'm free. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That's death. But why? Life is free. Life is the wind blowing in the trees. It's the stratospheres. It's the stars in the sky and the fish in the sea. And just freedom, and that's freedom, right? This is wrong. That's wrong. Freedom is appreciating what God is creating. The limitations that God put on the world are here from God's essence, freedom. That's life. That's called life. That's what's called life. And life has to be directed and in a framework and complicated, right? To keep things alive, it's very complicated. And if you want the world to be alive, it has to be very restricted, but it's restricted according to the laws of the Torah. And then that's God's restrictions. That's life. And that's the idea of Elokim. As we'll talk about more, God willing, tomorrow. And now we'll do the Devar Malchut.